Now, here's a story you definitely don't hear every day about a wife and mother who finds out that her child, her little boy, isn't her child. Now, you guys are probably like, SSM, how on God's green earth is that possible? Well, you're about to find out. But you're also going to see how in a situation like this where the husband and father finds out that his kid isn't his, when he wants to divorce the wife and he's making the choice to move on from the child, as you can imagine, the torches and pitchforks come out after him. In this story, guess what? Not for her. Everybody's supporting her. Titled, Am I the a-hole to divorce my husband and leave him with the kid after finding out I'm not biologically the mom? Says here, I can't believe my life has come to this. All I ever do is go out of my way to help other people, but on a few occasions, I need help. Nobody ever comes through for me. I'm a 36-year-old female, and I've been with my husband, a 35-year-old male, for almost 10 years, married for 7. We had what I thought was my child by surrogate over 2 years ago, because after 4 years of trying to conceive with no success despite medical interventions, it turns out I'm unable to carry a child to term. So in other words, she and her husband hired a woman to take, obviously, her egg and his sperm, the whole thing, carry the child, give birth, and here you go. That type of thing. I'd always wanted to be a mom. Devastated is an understatement regarding how I felt when I found out I have a medical condition that would make it nearly impossible to carry a baby to full term. It was even more upsetting when I had to get a major surgery to remove uterine growths with the hope to increase fertility, and complications during surgery warranted a partial hysterectomy involving removal of my uterus entirely. Ooh, ouch. I still have my ovaries, so we started looking into the cost of surrogate. It is really expensive. My close friend since college, who already had 2 kids of her own, offered to serve as a surrogate for us to cut down on costs. After 2 disappointing IVF sessions that did not result in pregnancy, she became pregnant on the 3rd try and carried a boy to term for us. I was so happy and busy after the birth between being a mom and returning to work after a 4-week parental leave, so I didn't notice any warning signs. So, she's gone through hell. Now, all she wanted to be is a mom. And up until this point, according to her, she's done nothing to warrant what happens here. I mean, remember, the story's coming from her, but guess what? You know, there are dudes that are scumbags out there too. It isn't just women that are scumbags, or women that can be scumbags. Let me rephrase that. A lot of scumbag guys out there too. So she's on cloud 9. She has her little boy. Everything's great. I should have noticed the red flags and warning signs early on, but did not because I was so exhausted from working so much at my stressful job and the 2 part-time jobs that covered most of the bills and anticipated medical and legal costs associated with this friend becoming our surrogate. I was the primary breadwinner. Man. My friend and my husband started talking more, and I would sometimes come home from my weekend job to find her already hanging out our house when my husband was there. Nope, not cool. You get married, there's no female friends for the husband to hang out with and text when the wife isn't around. No. He married her. She's the number one woman in his life. And same thing goes for her. No dude she's hanging out with or texting with, that type of shit. I chalked up as no big deal, and it's good for her to know my husband better since she was in the process of hopefully carrying our child for us. I was grateful to have someone helping us have a child. I also thought it was weird that our son has brown eyes when both of us have blue. Then I found out that while this isn't as uncommon, it's possible sometimes due to many genes controlling eye color. Recently, it has come to a head when I took our son to a doctor's appointment and they did the metabolic panel and blood test, which showed that he had a blood type that is not biologically possible to have with me as his mother. He is B+, and I'm A+, and husband is O+. Immediately, I started worrying it was the fertility clinic's fault, and they messed up and implanted a wrong embryo. I started lining up lawyer consultations and possibly sued the clinic, and looked into having the DNA parentage test done again. Holy crap. I mean, as if this woman hasn't been through enough already the first time around. Trying for 4 years, couldn't have the kids, had to have that surgery, went through this whole thing. I mean, that's a lot to have, you know. I'm trying to look at it from the woman's perspective that you can't give birth. And to have somebody else do it for you. Now, wonderful that option is there, but still. And then she's the breadwinner. And now this. The test results show that I'm not the mother, but my husband still is the father. I was heartbroken and angrier than ever. I talked to the lawyers about medical malpractice in the fertility clinic and what we used. Then my husband confessed that he slept with my friend, our surrogate, on a few different occasions during our struggle to have her get pregnant with our embryos. What a fucking scumbag. And so is the friend. They're both scumbags here. Who knows what the motives were for her friend, but this means what I thought was our son conceived by IVF and carried with a surrogate isn't my son at all, and was in fact conceived the old-fashioned way, which I can't ever do. Livid and absolutely broken at the time doesn't even begin to describe how I feel. I don't blame her. I've been breaking down into crying spells over and over again about this. He claims he didn't even think pregnancy could result because he pulled out, and he'd always assumed that he was the reason for our earlier struggles to conceive, both before my hysterectomy and during the IVF insemination process with his friend. Oh, okay, honey. Well, since you really tried hard to pull out, that makes everything better. I should just let it go. Get the fuck out. His stupid-ass excuse here is just about as dumb as some of the female excuses when they get busted for having affairs. I felt an immediate triple betrayal from what was supposed to be my husband, my friend, and not knowing my child isn't even really mine. I had such white-hot rage and delirium. I immediately left home and stayed at a hotel for almost a week before asking my parents to let me stay at home for a while. I admit I left our son with him. I'm now filing for divorce because he cheated and betrayed me in the worst possible way. I don't blame her. If she came to me for advice, I'd tell her to do the same fucking thing. The hell with him. Problem is that she said she's the primary breadwinner, and guess what? She'll be paying him. Now, a lot of you guys can laugh and say, ha ha ha, because, it's always the guys that pay. Well, in this story, if it's accurate, and she didn't do anything to warrant him cheating, which I'm going to hope that that's not the case, it is wrong for her to pay a cheater and a person that did that, just as the same it's wrong for the husband. If he finds out his wife is cheating and he makes more money, he's got to pay her for the pleasure of her. You get the point. I've also cut off my friendship with my so-called friend, the surrogate, and feel afraid to trust anyone else now. I've seen a divorce lawyer to see about giving up my legal rights to this kid so I don't have to face such betrayal or owe child support. So now you can see, now maybe some of these gals can understand where the guys are coming from when they find out that their child, 3 years old, however, isn't their kid. And they're so just seeing the child just tears them apart inside because they love that child that was their kid and they find it's not theirs, Now here's the situation where she's the victim here, again, if her story's accurate, and so's the little kid. It's not the little boy's fault what happened here, but she's loved that little boy probably like we couldn't even come close to imagining given her struggle to have him. And so at the end of the day, it's her choice. As I say with guys that make the choice to move on from a child they thought was theirs, and it's not. It's her choice. But hopefully, when her emotions calm down, and number one, her emotions are warranted here, then maybe she'll see it in a different light. I don't know. I have a weird feeling where in situations where the husband, the guy calms down, eventually decides to have a relationship with the child, but divorces the wife, somehow I have a feeling she's going to be gone for good. But it's her choice to make. But isn't it the role reversal here? My husband and friend, surrogate, admit they were wrong and keep apologizing, but also call me immature and heartless to just give up on the son just like that. Well, now you know now she's seeing, as well as anybody that watches this, what the guys go through. Oh, you're immature. Oh, you're heartless, for divorcing and leaving the child. It's not my kid. And you assholes are going to tell me what's what? Make me feel bad? You're the assholes that caused this whole problem to begin with. My parents also say I can't just give up on the kid that I went through so many legal and medical hoops to have. When I told them I refused to stay in a cheater marriage and I'd rather adopt someday with a better, more trustworthy partner, they also told me I was wrong and that maintaining my parental rights isn't much different than if I adopted outright. They said it isn't blood that makes a family. Well, there is truth to that, but at the end of the day, what happened, and I know you all know what I mean by this. But of course, they're all against her and all that, and again, I feel bad for a little boy, but just like with the dad, you know, when this happens to guys, you know, they're all about me divorcing my cheater husband, but keep telling me I'm making a mistake giving up my parental rights. So my other friends agree with what I'm doing. A few admitted they weren't big enough to swallow pride and care for an affair baby, or to see daily reminders of my friend surrogate's betrayal every time I look at her son. I just want a clean break and a fresh start. I'm also looking at relocating several states away. Am I the a-hole to get my parental rights in the divorce because the kid I paid a lot of money for to have born by surrogacy isn't biologically mine at all, but the surrogate's? Well, at the end of the day, you got to make your own choice. And she has her right to make her own choice. If it's going to cause you nothing but heartache and pain to see the child and all that, and it is not her child, it's not biologically her child, then she has to do what she has to do. But, again, perhaps maybe when she calms down in time that could change. I don't know. But certainly, I think there's going to be a lawsuit involved towards the husband and that friend and all that, because look at all the money. But then again, yeah, well, all that money was being spent. I mean, certainly she should be getting it back from that woman, and I'm sure she paid the majority of the money spent for that whole thing. But it's a big freaking mess. But I guess I'm doing this for one, because I do cover these types of stories, but also now you're seeing it with the women now, see what the guys go through. And again, the comment section, when I was going through there, when I was perusing the comment section this morning with my coffee, I didn't see one single person tearing her a new one. But whenever guys be in a situation like this, in fact, I covered one just the other day, half the comment section is people tearing apart, saying how evil he is for leaving the child, blah, blah, blah. Not here. Nope. Isn't that interesting? So, I'll be keeping an eye out for any updates on this, and if you guys see any updates, let me know.